All right, so Mariama, how did you actually align with your life purpose? How did you know, like, this is what I was meant to be doing?
I think that's is something that comes really naturally. It's not like I wake up one day and I was like, okay, that's it. This is what I want to do. I felt a lot of it's not like a pressure, but I feel like something was speaking. Like my intuition was always like guiding me to specific things. And what I meant by that, for example, before I started my first company, There Is No Limit Foundation, I used to work for my cosmetic, and people used to come there and say, "You don't belong here. You don't belong here." And it was more than one person that was telling me that. And for me, that was a message that God was really sending me. And at the same time, while people was telling me that, I was also feeling like something was off. I felt that that wasn't my place anymore. So for me, that's really how everything began. Because when that started to happen, that I was like, so what is next? Why I don't feel comfortable in this specific place anymore? Why I feel like this is not my space, and why people keep on telling me the same thing? So right there, for me, I was like, I have to search. I need to go find really what I love to do and to figure this out. And for me, then of course, it was about empowering others. It was about investing in women. It was no longer about money, because like they said, when you really love something, money comes later. But to me, it was the passion. And this passion was guiding me toward women and girls empowerment. So for me, I started to discover that this is really what makes me happy. Because how do you align? How do you figure this out? Is how you feel inside. If you are somewhere and you're doing something, you can tell right away if this is something that you like, then your soul will light up, you will feel good. But then if it's not something that you like, then you will also feel like pressure, then you won't feel happy.
And did you grow up in an environment where they were empowering women? Tell us a little bit about your childhood. That this is your passion of empowering other girls and women. Were you empowered by your parents and the community?
Well, me specifically, I mean, I come from both educated parents, so even though my community, my continent, we are still fighting to get women to specific places. I think compared to when I was growing up to now, things have changed drastically. But of course, back then, the women that was around me wasn't as empowered as I am today. But for example, my mom was an entrepreneur. That's also
That's
part
rare. Yeah.
sort of empowerment. But and then also, of course, the other women around Africa was also entrepreneurs, because if you look around in Africa, most people are entrepreneurs. Like they sell their own products, they're trying to make their own money.
Yes.
But for me, that's not the only meaning of empowerment. It could be a meaning of empowerment in certain countries, but for me, being empowered is more than that. Being empowered is also having a voice. Being empowered also means that you can make a decision for yourself, and that's something that I didn't see growing up, and that's something I wanted that to change, and I think it's still going till today.
Yeah, it was almost as if you felt that there wasn't any choice, right? Like what choice? It's unbelievable. So how did you end up in the United States?
Well, very interesting question. For vacation, I came for vacation. I think I really ended up in the United States by accident, honestly, because I came to visit my sister, who was a fashion model, and she had the twins babies. I came to visit, and then I found love, or love found me. Then we fell in love, and then we got married. We couldn't live without each other then.
And how old were you when you got married?
I was very young.
Oh my
So
God.
like to tell the age now. I was probably like 17, 18, like in America.
Wow, wow, wow. But you see, it's like there's nothing chance, you came to the US and it, got inspired and then, let us know like how your career began in the US you were mentioning about makeup, that you were dabbling in makeup artistry and everything like that. But you are such a, you, wherever you go, you bring so much, like so much inspiration, so much color, so much music. Like what I look, when I look at you, it's like, you are a creative muse, of aspiration, of inspiration. Like when we first met at the United Nations, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, I don't even remember how many years ago that was. But it's like, how did you go from, finding, you get married, you fall in love, you're now in the United States, you're a teenager, you just went to visit your sister, and now you're in this foreign country. How did you go from that wake up call of saying there's something greater? Like, how did you know it was your intuition that was speaking to you?
That is such a great question because there is something that like there is a when people, for example, when I right now I'm in Africa and people always ask me like, okay, where did you grow up? Like, and some people feel like when I'm in America, they feel like I grew up in Africa, but when I'm in Africa, they feel like I grew up in America. So it's always like this little battle because when you're 17 or 18, but for me, that's really where your life is beginning. So for me, yes, I was in Africa till then, but I feel like half of my life is in the United States. And how do I started my career? I started my career as a fashion model because my sister was already in the industry. And because I am an Aquarius and a very curious woman, and I'm not the type of woman who will not try something that come get in my head. I just wanted to be free and to go for what I love. And then so after modeling, I really loved makeup. I back then I saw myself as a very popular makeup artist. At young girls' dreams. I was like, okay, I want to be like all these celebrity makeup artists, etc. So I went and did some courses and stuff. And then my dream was to work for MAC Cosmetic. It was my dream brand to work for. I used to go to the counter and then dream and like look at all these people with their cool makeup and then ask for job and I end up working for my cosmetic. So I think that's where I started doing makeup, doing something that I love. And then that's exactly where people start to tell me you don't belong here. You don't belong here. So it becomes
Mm.
very confusing for me because it's like almost like I'm starting a new life and I'm into this, and I thought like this is it, and now everybody's telling me this is not it. You deserve more than that, and then this voice, this intuition also started to tell me you deserve more than that. This is no longer your place, but that is something good, and it's something that I really embrace today, and then I love it because I feel like um, throughout our life journey we have like a different section, a section of naivety, a section when you become smarter, a section where you know that you no longer need to be in an abusive relationship or you no
Yeah,
longer have to be at specific places, but you do need to go through those experiences in order for you to be smarter, clever, and to do better.
definitely. No, that is the truth. But it's like, it's interesting. Like, unless you have some support, sometimes people stay in these relationships where they think like this is the only way out. They don't realize that they have a choice. Like, even like you were saying in your childhood in Africa, that some of these women, they don't realize that there's a choice that they have, because it's this pattern that keeps on repeating and repeating, repeating. But it seems that you come from a family that is, of about women's empowerment and about speaking your voice. But sometimes, people fear that. And that's what I admire most about you. Like, when you called me up and you had this vision of Raw Real Talks, and it's like, it's not that we are the voice of other women, but we're voicing the truth and having other women let us know what their struggles are, their tribulations are. Because when people look at someone like you, they're like, wow, I mean, she has it all figured out. It's like you get your stuff done. It's like, what I love about you most is like, you have a dream and you pursue it. You chisel away, little by little by little by little, but you don't see just one way. I love, and maybe that's the Aquarius in you. You see like like it goes wide. Like you see the left and the right, and then it just like it's endless. I feel like with you, like it's eternal of how much, you know, you can see and envision. So I love how your inspiration and your vision with Raw Real Talks, and I'd love to speak a little bit more about that, of how that, like how that was born inside of you. Because even though you don't have physical children yet, you have given birth so many times to brand new babies of businesses, of inspiration. You have healed and nurtured thousands of women and children and even younger men worldwide. This is the matriarch archetype. Like this is who you are. So when we spoke maybe a year and a half ago, and you had this beautiful, you're like, that's it, I'm pregnant again with this baby, with Raw Real Talks, and this is it. So how did that come about?
First of all, I think I would like to go back a little bit to when we were mentioning women of Africa, and you said
Yeah.
something have like things figured out or they didn't have a choice. I would say that it's not that they didn't have a choice or they have a choice. I think what it is, because it's still happening, is that this is almost something cultural, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, I'm coming from the Republic of Guinea. It's very often to see men beating women, and then it has become a way that some women they have really become like they really like to be beaten. I think they it's not that they enjoy it, but they expect it, right?
Mm.
So, and that's something that they need to be educated about it. We need to talk about it. We have to actually let them know that this is not okay. So it's not that they don't have a choice and opportunity. It is part of their lifestyle, and then today is changing because there is so many campaign about ending violence against women. Even our NGO, There Is No Limit Foundation, we have been out there for the past 14 years, advocating for women and girls' rights. I think that's, and also with technology today, they don't have to stay in their own corner, but they can see the world. They on Instagram and all this stuff. They see campaign, they see Instagram ads. So now they understand that they also have a right uh, to be free, right to live peacefully, and also the right to divorce if they didn't feel okay in a relationship. So yes, I think to answer your next question, where you said that. Uh, I love to do things and then I see life brighter. I think that's
Yes.
something that has always been in me. I never thought small. I'm not the type of person who will just go like, okay, I'm gonna start a candy shop. It would be like for my neighborhood. If I'm selling a candy shop, I'm selling a candy shop for the world. I don't think that small. And it's very fascinating to me because sometimes I even surprise myself because I also challenge myself to see how far I can go, how far my brain can go. And that is exactly why um, giving birth to raw real talks, like you call them, my
Your baby.
babies for now, is that for me it was very good because I normally when I start companies I start one at a time, but this time I started two at a time. It was
I
to
know.
challenge myself to see like how far I can go, and I also chose a time that was the most difficult time, the time where is coronavirus. The whole world is scared to move forward. The whole world is freaking out, and for me I like to turn challenges into opportunities. So I was like, this is the perfect opportunity. This is the perfect time for us to be able to tell stories of people. And also, I think what it is that the fact that I have these characteristics in me, I am not the kind of person that is selfish. I like to share. I
I
want
know.
people to know what is my trick. I want people to be like me, I guess. When I say be like me, is not in the way that to speak like me or what, but I want them also to be fearless. I also want them to go after their dreams. And then why I started Raw Talks, because I figured that uh, I get invited to most of the, to one of the biggest conferences around the world because I travel and I speak in these conferences. And then I see sometime, I'm being invited repetitively, like all the time. And I said, okay, it's very good. It's because I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing because
Yep.
I work the grassroots level. But I felt like that space would have been also for many other people. And I realized that big media company, they always want to invite people who are already out there. But yet there is so many stories around the world that that I am told. There is so many important stories, so many talented people that are out there, but all they're lacking is opportunities. And I'm sorry, you're not going to see these people all the time on Oprah show. And even if they want to go, by the time they reach Oprah to tell their story, the people that are between Oprah and them would
Yes.
not make it happen. And I wanted Raw Real Talks to be a platform where people can come around the world and connect. Not only connect because they want to be beautiful and be there, but I wanted them to exchange, to talk. Because when I have you on Raw Real Talk sharing your story, people from Africa, the young girls, they are able to see you, to talk to you, and even to be proud that this platform was started by an African woman. That's already something big
Yep.
for them. And then to see uh, Christine that is in California, you guys exchanging the talks that you have in OKG that is in Paris, bringing different type of people in the platform is something that is wonderful. And for me, Royal Talks, I haven't even touched it yet. I haven't even touched it yet because people who knows me, they know that when I want something, I have to get it. I'm not the type of girl who play with my career. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And so right now for me, yes, Rory Talk has begun, but I haven't put my hands on it yet. And I'm going to do that. And because I know so that this platform, yes, is something that people think is just starting, but this platform will be among the biggest platform in the world, yes. And I'm going to tell you why. Not because, not because of the numbers of what life success and all this stuff is not measured by being started by Brad Pitt, but it's how much people you are touching. It's how much individual around the
Exactly.
world you are giving that platform to. And that's why I know that Robert Talks will be one of the biggest platforms because already you are sharing your story. You are healing people without even knowing. You are healing all of us. Even though I have all these fearless characteristics in me, like we said, I'm human. I'm
Yes,
not
exactly.
I'm human, I'm not perfect. I have my own issues. So when I also listen to others, when I see others talking, or when I try to help others, I'm also helping myself. And that's the whole beauty about Raw Will Talk, that exchange that we want to bring it that platform for everyone.
And it's true. It's like it's a heart-based intentions when you have that. You build like you gave birth to twins basically at the same time. They're not identical, but but it was literally twins. And then you handed one baby over to me at the moment, and you said, "Can you just?"
You're the godmother of this baby.
I'm the
Seriously,
godmother. I'm the spiritual midwife
seriously.
of this and of loving it, of nurturing it, of and it's really true. It's like if you can heal one person or inspire one person, then we made an impact. It truly is, that is it's a great there's a greater plan than what we can even see, but it takes someone like you with the right foundation, with the right intention to put it out there, and then it's the right people come along.
Like people, you say it before me. Exactly. I
Yeah.
think you have contributed so much into this uh, platform. I feel like this platform is being run by you. You are the one actually
Oh,
running it right now. And I love that. I love, and it's important for me to do that. And I don't know if you remember this. I said Norway talks for me, that's not about Mariama
yeah.
because I have for the company, Mariama Camara brand, Mariama Fashion Production. But my twins, they totally different identities, but also they're not about Mariama. Even the others wasn't about me. My other companies, I chose my name because I wanted that name to be a testimony for every immigrant girl, for every girl who has a dream, and every young woman who has a dream to say, if Mariama did it, I'm going to do it. And that's why really I wanted to live that. So each time they hear that name, I want them to be also, empowered and feel like I can do this. But raw real talks, it's not necessary. Royal Talks is for you. Royal Talks is for everyone who has a dream. Royal Talks is for everyone who's an activist. We have so many stories, but we always go far to look for stories. But the real stories, the most important stories are next door. It's the story of our
Yes.
family, our friends. We just have to listen, and or start a conversation like the way you start in that conversation with them to give them tips about how to heal and to prepare your masterclass because some people maybe they shy to move forward. Some are very easy to go like, okay, let me go ahead myself. Some people they like to sit back first and listen and
Yeah, and they're
listen.
viewing. Yeah.
They make a move. So I think we have already started that, and I'm seeing the platform is growing very big. The beginning when we used to do it, I didn't see as many people being involved because sometimes people want to be involved with things that are bigger. And for me, that's funny to me because bigger doesn't always mean the best. Sometimes the best thing is simple things in life.
Exactly. And something that has longevity is something that's built on unconditional love, truly. Because this isn't something that we're getting paid for. This is something where we are giving.
So it's a passion.
It's a passion. It's a complete passion, and this is of inspiration. But what advice would you give young women, young men who even, it doesn't even have to be young, anyone from 30, from 10 to all the way of like 95, of people that find themselves with the crossroads, and then they listen to your talk, or they listen to a Raw Real Talk episode, or they listen to one of your TEDx speaking, or your United Nations speaking, your all of these talks that you do to inspire. What advice do you give for all these people that find themselves in that crossroads? Like, you see, one person would view, another person feels shy. It's all of, and it has to do of the way that people are raised. Also, it's cultural. But what advice would you give them when they're at a crossroads, and for them, what are the first steps to follow their heart calling?
That's such a beautiful question. As you were asking, I was thinking. I was thinking. So for me, I think it's two ways, because it could, I think these things we can explain it in two ways, right? It could be one person at the crossroad who has everything, but he has fears to start. Because what I think people, most of the time, they're like, we have this project, we want to do this, but we don't know how to start it. I call that fears. They have fears to fail. They have fear that they don't have enough money. They have fears that what the society will say about them, what the family will say about them. So we will begin by those people first. I would say just start. Start where you are with what you have. When I started my first company, I had $18. $18. When I moved to the United States in 2000 or 2001, I had 100 US dollars. Today, I own more than six companies. So I didn't start it with a lot of money, but I had a dream and I had a passion, and I believe in this passion. And I didn't say like, oh my God, what are they gonna think? I started doing what I'm doing, even though in the middle of it, people started to judge me, and I started to feel like, oh my God, I started and asked for help, right? Like I asked my little sister, and she introduced me to her old boss, who told me something very simple. In my interview yesterday, I did an interview yesterday, and that's exactly what I was talking about in French. And the lady told me, listen, all these people that are judging you, this shouldn't be your business. People don't have to like you, but they're going to respect you. And how? Because of your work ethic, because of how you deliver your the end result is what is important. So I would say to that person that I just described, if you find yourself in this type of situation where you have your business but you're afraid to do it, just begin. You know, I one time I heard Chelsea Clinton in a TEDx talk, and she said, "If you don't try, the answer will be no."
Always.
How
Yeah.
will you even
Wow.
know if it's going to be no, if you didn't even try? So I would tell to that person, try. For the person that is still trying to figure out what to do, I listen, I feel you too, and I hear you too, because I I am a woman with many hats, and
Yes.
I love to do many things. And some people was like, okay, what can she focus, etc., etc. So if you really find yourself in this kind of situation, I would say, listen, first of all, don't judge yourself. Okay? If you're thinking that you can do many things, you probably can. Okay? And now you have to be still a bit organized. Try to search in all these things that you like to do and find your priorities. When I was in that situation, I was like, okay, I like to do all these things, but what are my priorities? Seriously, it was 20 of things that I wanted to do. I started to narrow it into 10, and then five. Those
Yes.
five, I said, I'm going to begin with three. And when I picked those three, I said, I'm going to begin with one. And I started my first passion, something that wasn't for money, but something that will lighten my soul, something that made me feel good. And I started my organization, There Is No Limit Foundation. So you too, it's very important for you to find that passion, that calling. Don't think money yet. Because if you think money, at some point, building a business is not easy. You will get stuck. And if it's because of money, you will let it go. But if you're
Exactly.
passionate about it, you will keep going.
Exactly. My husband is a designer also. He's in fashion as well. And his success with certain aspects, he's also very intuitive. But his whole thing is when he is designing or managing certain aspects is how is this going to make my customer happy? And when you think that way, then all the other things just start flowing. But I love like what you were saying about narrowing it down. It's like from 10 to 5 to 3 to 1. And then, I mean, that's what it is because they're like, where do I start? The fear of not actually starting, of not actually trying, of something that you could, and what's the big deal? You try it and you fail, but then the universe will bring you something even better because now you already learned certain things. You have this great idea and you hit the brick wall of frustration, and maybe it may not be the exact idea for you, but then you'll get this illumination of like, I know what it is. And the right people will come along and maybe you'll start something else. Maybe you'll go up to number 2 on that, what it was. But at least you set the foundation. There's something like that I work with my clients when I do healing work. Because sometimes, like, as you know, I mean, I work with trauma and past lives and integration and all of these things. We can't do everything all at the same time, but we get to the root of it. And then they're like, well, now how does the healing happen? Well, the healing happens only when there is love. And love is actually the answer to everything. Love is the answer to business. Love is the answer to Raw Real Talks. Love is the answer for everything, truly. And that's, yeah, and that's what heals, and forgiveness. And then there's even restitution. What do I mean by restitution? It's that of there's like the karma law, like like of doing, and it doesn't mean about getting punished, it's about doing nice things, paying it forward, not because you want something in return. So what I do with my clients, and tell me like what you think about this, is like we do a spiritual MRAP. So it's SMRAP. It's spiritual measurable results action plan. So we take the what is it? Well, I want to, go out there and tell everybody about whatever it is, this beautiful business idea. So it's the what, then it's the how am I going to do it? Well, I could do it through my post on Instagram where I could do it and speak to this. And then the last thing is the by when. So when you have the by when, and it's there on paper, it's not about putting pressure on yourself, but it's like almost like of your soul making this, like it's holding yourself accountable without punishment, but at least it makes it doable. So tell me your thoughts about that. What do you think about that?
First, I'm looking at my computer right now, and I'm seeing my computer is dying.
Oh, it's okay. We'll.
I can no, but I just need to take my charger. I think I didn't bring my charger.
I could press pause. I'll pause it.
Can pause? Yeah. Can you
Yeah.
pause? So I think that you actually did very well to organize it that way, because you also help the person that is working with you to think further. Because you force them without forcing them to use their brain, to figure like how, when, all these details. So it really helps them actually to evaluate themselves, and it also helps them to look inward, you know. inside of them, because in order for you to make a decision in anything, healing, work, creating a business, you always have to use your brain, and when you use your brain is kind of attached also to your heart, right? It's like when you miss somebody, first you have to think before your heart started to move. So when you give them this plan, it really helped them, to express themselves. I think is a very good way to do things, and I think a matter of fact is the best way to do anything in life. You have to, you know is planning. When you want to start a business, for example, you have to think first of what you want to start, and when you get that business, you need to think about like, okay, which packaging am I going to put in this my product in, and who are my customer base, right? And then how much I'm going to sell that product. So it's so many details. So I think you really
Yes.
helping them to grow, not only in that specific healing, but for them to be able to use that same way of thinking in every way.
Yeah, otherwise it becomes overwhelming. It's overwhelming, and they lose faith at times. They're like, well, but how? I need to know, but how? And it's like just one step at a time. And the thing is that people think that it's a great idea and success, even with healing. Oh my God, I went to this person and now I'm 100% healed. No, it's an involvement, and there are times that we fail also. What was, we speak about all of aspirations and we inspire people, and you are like, you speak about just do it. And what's the worst thing that could happen? You succeed. But what was in your life, because there's so many successes, that was one of the biggest struggles that you had, that you turned it around to make it one of your biggest assets?
I think one of the challenges that I make my biggest asset, and I still keep on going, and then
Yeah.
actually get me, I like it actually, is the fact that I was always judged. I was judged, and I think this must be also, when we look, if we're talking more like energetically, like energy, and then spiritually, and then psychologically, when something like this kind of follows you, it also has like a deeper roots, right? So maybe if I feel this way, it must be something that is following me for a very long time. Maybe I was judged when I was young. Maybe it's not something that I like. Maybe I've been seeing like repetition in my life, and that's a challenge, right? And then the fact that people's, not everybody, but some people continue to do it. It was very challenging for me. And when sometime when you have like a lot of challenge, you almost want to let go of things, right? Then it can also become a failure, right? Because, or you start to develop like some kind of characteristic that is not really you, like people pleasing. I used to be doing a lot, like people pleasing. I didn't want people to get mad at me. I was overworking myself, to make friends happy, to make
Yeah.
people in my relationship happy. And then for me, when it didn't work out, it was almost like a failure for me. But instead of seeing it as a failure, I try to tell myself like, what is this? Because sometimes you can even have like an issue or something without realizing it, right? And some people will never really know for the rest of their life. But I'm just a person that don't only question others, I question myself. When something happened, I like to sit also and to say, is it my fault? Is it not my fault? And why is this same thing keep on happening in my life? Why is this same thing keep on showing up in my life? And then that you can feel that also as a failure. People think that failure is only in business, but failure can be in many things. Failure can be in relationship. Failure can be that you weren't able to solve the specific things. And for me, I guess I turned that into a challenge, and then I turned into a confidence. And to be honest with you, I think I really stopped doing this probably beginning of last year. So can you imagine? All my entire life, I had to stop only, yeah, like stop people pleasing, and but I didn't even know what it was. I started to go online to figure what is this, do research, talk to people. I had the chance to speak with you, and you said this one thing. You're like, okay, you are giving your power away, and sometimes people hear some words without even knowing what those words means, and because we see it everywhere, we see so many Instagram quotes per day. Some quotes mean something, but because you've been seeing it so many times, you don't really sit down to reflect on that quote. You're like, what it was or what it is. So for me, I think, yeah, I had that, and today I I feel powerful. I feel even more powerful, and I feel confident. And I'm putting myself also first. I'm loving myself more, and that is something that is really beautiful to do.
You know, I need to tell you something. This is you just brought and shed so much light that I never even knew that was inside of me. When I was younger, English was my sixth language. English was not my first language. And my parents spoke in Russian. My grandfather was speaking in German. My grandmother was Romanian. Like English was my sixth language, and I had an accent. And I was, even though I was born in the United States, I'm a child of immigrants. I slept in a crib until I was about almost 5 years old in this one little bedroom apartment in Brooklyn, and they labeled me as like a mute, that I didn't speak. And my mother's like, what are you talking about? She can speak six languages. And I had a fear. I didn't even realize this. I just had an epiphany since I was a little girl, a fear of being judged. And even though I was able, and I felt energy very deeply, I was able to discern of what people were thinking. I was a translator of their mind and their heart. I knew what their heart was saying. And I'm like, why is what's coming out of their mouth different from what their truth is? So I was constantly translating, but I was so afraid to say anything that I would offend the person. And then even my thoughts, I was afraid of even thinking wrong, because I thought if I could connect to their thoughts, they can read my thoughts. So I didn't even realize. So I was people pleasing for a very long time, not even realizing. But what I really love, besides what you just shed light on me that I can't even imagine, but that's what we are. We're mirror images we're reflections of one another. We really are. And one thing that you mentioned that I think is so profound is that when you start thinking, you didn't go into the doors of criticism. Maybe when you were people pleasing, you did a little bit, but now what made you go into the doors of courage and confidence is another C word. And it's not criticism, it's curiosity.
Yes.
That's like, and I said, oh my God, it's through curiosity. And that's the
Yeah.
anecdote it's why is this happening? Not of beating yourself up and judging yourself, because that's the bad C word, which is criticism. You went into curiosity, and through that was confidence and courage. And that's the way you overcame like any type of, which is the other C word, challenges. Really cool. I mean, this is just what you just said in the past 5 minutes. I feel like this is what you do. You widen people's scope of their vision. You just did it for me. I love you. I
So
love you
what
so
you did,
much.
thank you, sweetie. You did for me, when you said that simple words, and
Wow.
this is what is beautiful about the exchange
Wow.
that we have on Raw Real Talks. Because when you share your stories every Tuesday, you talk about the Raw Healing Talks. It may be somebody that is listening, and all they needed was that one thing that they didn't know it was that, or maybe they keep hearing it. They needed somebody to confirm to them, because saying to somebody, you need to take your power back. It's not that I didn't hear it before.
No.
You phrase it in a way, you say it in such a simple way that I get to go like, okay, this, to fix the puzzle, like to close the end of the puzzle. They say, okay, so this is what it was. So this is what I've been giving away. And I think what really make people to continue struggling, you said they're not curious enough, or they're afraid enough, or they don't accept. Also, there is one thing that I like to say when I give advice to people here in Africa. When women come to me and share their story with me, I always tell them, listen, if you go to the doctor, it's because you felt like something was hurting your head, your chest, or something. When you go to the doctor, and the doctor tells you like, okay, I have checked you out, you don't have anything. You don't go home and say like, oh, you have something. You can accept it, right? So what keeps happening is that many people have this type of, I won't call it problems, because if I say
No.
problem, it's not a problem, because when I was people pleasing, I didn't know what it was, right? But when I realized that that's what he meant, I didn't just, oh, sorry, it's my word, I just freak out. A bottle of water, and then you just like, when I figured that I have like a people pleasing things, I didn't go like, oh my God, I'm not normal. I'm gonna be like, I'm not a good person. Why I'm thinking? No, I was like, okay, what is leading me to do this?
Yeah.
You're right, curiosity that I start to search. And when you search, it leads to one thing to another. And this is what most people don't like, because now they have to accept themselves. Because now they're gonna have to dig deeper. And when you dig deeper, you have to go to the roots. And when you find out the roots, now you see it. You have the choice to either cut these roots or to keep on watering it. For me, I no longer wanted to keep this roots, so I cut it off. And I can tell you, my entire life, I have never been so happy.
I'm so happy to hear that you decided not to build your own garden, but to build your own continent with fertile soil. And the fertile soil is of getting your power back, not allowing others to plug in that, and just inspiring, which is amazing.
And seriously, I want to add two little things on it, and I would love to discuss this later with you on Raw Week Talks when
Yeah.
we have talks. And I think also what I realized that if the people I even told were controlling me, they weren't the only people controlling me. I figured that I was controlled by many other things. I was controlled by friends. You
Mhm.
know, I was, yes, I realized that this control is not one person. And then because once you start to figure that out, then you go like, oh, so this is what it is, and this one too, and this one too. And I started to clear my environment. How can you grow in an environment that is polluted, right? If you are somewhere, if you take one bad seed and you put it in a lot of good seed and you let it sink there for a long time, it's going to contaminate. But if you remove that bad seed and you throw it away, you have a very good chance of saving all the other seeds. And sometimes you just need to take yourself out of the bad seed also. It's not always that somebody need to come take that bad seed. You have to also figure out that, okay, maybe I'm the one who has to really take myself out.
Exactly, but it takes awareness for that, you know. You have to be aware. You have to be in that moment. And now I'm going to ask you something that probably is like taboo. People are like, "Oh, we don't speak about this. We don't." But this is the real deal. And a lot of, and now like even in social media, it's how they say the grass is greener on the other side. How do you handle jealousy? Because this is like, people feel, it's the fear of they are lacking something, and sometimes it's jealousy if they think you have it all, that it's the perfect this, the perfect that, the perfect that. How do you handle something, because jealousy is such a low vibration? This is something that you and that I know that we don't have that within us. It's almost like if I see someone successful, I am so happy that they're successful. And I'm like, wow, how did they do it? And it was really just of getting inspiration. How do you handle the jealousy? And there's a lot of women with the cattiness, and pardon me, whoever's with the bitchiness, and the ones that are kind of looking and the judgment. So this word, jealousy and envy, how do you handle that? And what advice would you give for young girls that think that there's someone else better than they are?
I think all the it's so funny that you just asked me this question, because I was talking about this with my sister-in-law 2 days ago.
Oh,
And
really?
yes, I think when people feel envious, when people feel jealous of others, it's something that they have inside of them.
Yeah.
They need to search within themselves, to figure like, why am I envying others? It's because they're thinking of in the lacking mentality mindset. They have a mindset that the universe and everything is only for one person. So first of all, they need to change their mindset. I would say. If you change your mindset and you understand that there is enough supplies for everyone,
Yeah.
and you understand that you are unique, and you understand that there is a place you are to feel that no one else can feel, things that you can do that no one else can do, you're no longer going to envy other people. And I wouldn't say that I was always this way. It happens, it can happen for everyone. Until you really find yourself, you will get lost in envying other people. It has happened to me in my younger age where I say something like, oh, why not me? I'm not going to say that I'm perfect. But these are things that don't happen to me anymore because I feel it now.
Yeah, it's you discover the magic inside of you.
Exactly. And for so long, I didn't know what the word feeling enough meant. Even though I knew, like I said to you earlier, so many people hear words, but
Yeah.
until they really sit and focus and try to dig deeper into what the words mean, they won't understand it. So I guess what I will say to the young people, because I see every day, I mean, I know so many people, so many friends, I have lost so many friends since I started building my company, but especially since I started building Raw Will Talks and Canafrique, I have lost almost everyone, like everyone that didn't feel like they were doing good. But I will say to them that they need to search within themselves. What gives you the right to be jealous of somebody who have worked so hard? I
Exactly.
deserve what I have. I work tirelessly. I literally don't sleep. And you just said that people think the grass is always greener somewhere else. Or maybe they only see me in the moment when I'm doing an interview, BBC or this, but they're not thinking, how did she get there? What is she doing to achieve, to get what it is? I've been working for the past 14 years nonstop. 14 years nonstop. And you don't want me to be successful? You're bugging. And it's so
Yeah.
sad because this happened, but among us women, this happened a lot. This happened a lot. And I have noticed this even within our environment and within our crew, even within Robert Talks, you know, just because I'm putting a light on you doesn't mean I don't love somebody else. For me, what I like to do and what I really want for Royal Talks, I want everybody to be able to shine. And that's something that I pay attention. Even when I see one host not being presented a specific way, I want to tell them, like, you know what, keep your head high, feel yourself. You are out there, because for me, I want everybody to do good. And that's the only way we're gonna make our world a better place. Honestly, right now it's so important that you ask this question because this is one of the topics that is my main topics right now. Because for me, every year I pick different topic that I like to treat in my head, and this month, this moment, that's what I'm thinking. Like, why are people thinking this way, and how this can be solved? Who knows? Maybe I will be able to answer more in a month or two after I have done my little search, or like I always do.
But it's also that you're ingesting it and you're going to digest it, and it's also of we are all one. We are all like we're all unique at the same time, but there it's the idea of separatism, like of that only this person has it. This we all have our unique gifts. We have to share. Oh my God. Mariama, I could speak with you for hours and hours and hours. I love you so much. You are such an inspiration in my life. You are not just someone that I could call my friend and a colleague and a peer, but a soul sister. And just feel so blessed that we are, utilizing this time together because we could be anywhere in the whole entire universe, but we chose to be here, right now with one another and sharing your beautiful story and your inspirational talk for others. And just if people want to, follow you and of your inspirations and of your endeavors, how can they find you?
Okay, then fine. I guess through Instagram. I love Instagram because it's fast. It's fast, it's quick, and I'm able to see everything. And I'm able to also see what others are doing. Because when we talk about jealousy and all these things, it's because people don't like to share. I like to share. I like to pay attention to people. And for me, Instagram is a place where I can come and speak my mind. Because even when I post, I want to post something that if somebody else read it, I want the things to be posted. So Instagram, Mariama World. This is what you can find me. I know when people hear like Mariama World, they're like, oh my God, is she a narcissist? Is she so full of herself? No, it's my world. It's my world. This is a place that I can really uh, take out what is in my head. And also, I people need to stop this whole thing. If you don't love yourself, then who should you love? You know.
Exactly.
And then I get sick and tired because when you're not confident, then people say, "Oh my God, she's not confident. She's so insecure." Then when you become secure, she's too secure. People always going to say something. At the end of the day, you gotta live for you. So if you want to see me, you have to come to Mariama Wealth. It is Royal Talks where you guys are doing amazing talk. I'm preparing my own talk. It's a surprise though, because I really wanted you to be part of it. And it's very simple. I just want to call it Raw Talks. Because it's Royal Talks, but I want this to be Raw Talks.
Yes.
Why? Because when it's raw, it is honest. And it's honest and it's limitless. Because for me, when I express myself, I don't like to I don't like to stop myself. Understand? I don't want to sugarcoat anything. I want to be raw. I want to be real. I want to say exactly what is in my heart, what is in my mind. That doesn't mean I have to offend somebody, but I will definitely. I'm like, sometimes I'm like a dog. You know, when the dog is digging on the things, I like to
Uh,
dig to see. And if there's a question in my mind, I want to take it, like put it out there. And of course, you know, I want to also talk with people like yourself who can also share that with me and also for the world, for the people, for the others to be able to see themselves through us, but to also get involved because that's the whole point of us building the Raw Real Talk platforms. It's not for one person to shine, it's for all of us to shine. And that is why when you guys come to the platform, I tell come as you are. Come and challenge Namaste. Come with your platform. Put yourself out there. There is no way of being selfish because when you think of self, like when you become selfish, when you think jealousy, when you think envy, is because you're lacking something. There is enough supplies for all of us to succeed in this world.
So beautiful, so beautiful. So we're gonna end this talk with a little bit of humanness, and I'll explain. A little bit of fun. So we're gonna play a game. You want to play a game with me? It's called This or That. All right, where people can really get like the human side of what it is that you love, what you love. Okay, so let's play this or that. You're with me?
I'm with you.
Okay, okay. Day or night?
Say it again.
Um, Pizza or sushi?
Sushi.
Beautiful. Dress or pants?
Dress.
Yes, this this I knew. Mountains or oceans?
Oceans.
Yes, this is great because it's not Mariama's world. We're going to make it where it's Mariama's universe, and everyone can have a piece of land in the world.
It has to be like Ibiza. It has to be like has some sun, sand.
Beautiful, beautiful, with lots of water. Okay, dog or cat?
Dog.
Yes, me too, me too. Okay, phone call or text or WhatsApp?
Okay. I like it quick.
Oh, there you go. Okay, disco or hip hop?
Disco. Look at my hair.
You know what you need? You need a pair of roller skates now with that.
When you say disco, that's exactly like I see myself like first I was afraid. I was petrified. I see myself.
Oh my God. I see when I visualize that it's like a 1970s where we're in the roller skating and all of that.
Actually, I wish I was born then. You know, that's exactly the life. I love that. But I do love hip hop also. But if I have to pick between hip hop and disco, I'm going disco.
Yep, me too. Me too. Although I like old school hip hop. Cook or order in? Beautiful, beautiful. So I think we're good. I think we're good. This was so much fun. This was so much fun. I love you. I look forward to speak. I love speaking to you every single week. I love speaking to you every single moment that we get to connect. So thank you for doing what you do in this world. Thank you for being a part of my life and the lives of so many. And it's been a pleasure.
Well, thank you so much for organizing this talk. I know this is a new beginning for you. You have been doing it already, but this is like a new beginning. And it's a new, beautiful beginning because I think you are ready and you have so much to share with the world. You have so much knowledge. You have so much healing power to heal so many people. So I also want to wish you a good, the best success ever, and I want you to know that there is no limit in life. You know, you can have it all. And and I hope the people that will get the opportunity to watch this conversation, they will be able to, be inspired at least of one thing that we said, even if it's disco or hip hop that they love, or any other things that we share with them. So thank you so much for inviting me and to having this conversation with me. I equally enjoy talking with you, and I'm super happy to take the new journey which you through Robert Talks to empower the next generation.
Thank you so much, Mariama. Be well, be well. Thank you. I love you and many blessings.
Namaste.
Namaste.